Okay, everybody, it's Narrative Tarot. I'm here with, what is this? Mercury, March 2021 reading. So, comment, like, subscribe to the channel. Definitely helps you keep in the loop, in the know about what's going on here. I do monthly planet readings, which are readings that if you want to explore some issues that you might be having as far as transits and planet aspects, things like that, definitely check those out. So I do planet readings every month. I do redemption readings, I do book review, other readings as I see fit, general discussions and topics about things that come in through meditation or channeling. So helps keep you in the know. And so, yeah. So I do two parts. Two parts to the reading. This is the first part. And each reading has different decks because different energies and stuff. So I'm using the OK Tarot. OK Tarot. Like you're okay. Or it's okay. Okay, so upper world, lower world. So upper world, lower world, and then we have pairs. Each pair may be a story on its own or part of a larger whole. So, yeah. When I was doing the shuffle for this deck, Tarot, what is it, Tarot Nova, is what this one looks like. And then this is the OK Tarot. When I was doing just shuffling with this, because I don't use this really, it's gonna be like the first time I use it for real. I got a lot of swords cards, so it's kind of interesting that half of the cards on the board here are swords cards as well. But in the upper world we have the Three of Swords. The lower world we have Six of Cups. Doing what you want even if you feel kind of bad, sad. This isn't something you want to do. This could be a relationship, a breakup, or anything like that. But it's something that you may not want to do. But it's something that's necessary. It's something that may be necessary. So, you're doing something that may break your heart or may break other people's heart, but it's necessary. It actually could bring about fulfillment in your life because you're choosing yourself, you're choosing what you want to do. And while that breaks hearts, it even breaks your own heart. The broken heart is really the you that you thought you were. That's what's breaking. That's the heart that's breaking. The you that you thought that you were. And so, with that, you should try to, I don't know, remember the good times as far as your experiences, your relationships, things like that. Because it's not so hard once you get over it, right? And I feel like the who you were that gets lost is replaced or allows the who you were in a more genuine, pure sense before all the shit to come forward. And that's a more whole part of yourself. And that's the part that can transcend this Three of Swords. Bear with me. My throat is kind of wonky. Don't know why. It's not like I've gone anywhere. So even with this, you might need to take care of yourself. You might need to take care with your words, your feelings, emotions, things like that. Slow down, savor. And maybe reminisce on what's going on. You also might need to get a sound bowl. I know this isn't one. Or listen to meditations that have certain frequencies. Gong meditations might be helpful for you. But I see a desire to reminisce over what was lost or things that hurt past, but it's just the things that you let go are false things now, or maybe they were never really true. False things as in they don't fit you anymore, or false things are that you picked them up thinking that they were you. And so your lower world is the Six of Cups. It's things that you're attached to, things that you find familiar. You might like the Mars reading because it's picking up a little bit of that. So things that are familiar, that are known, that people, people find close to them. This could be patterns and cycles and things like that. But it would be best if you let that go and then moved forward and allowed yourself to grieve. So you might just be going through a grieving process at letting go of something. Particularly with Mercury, you could be ending things. You could be using words that wrap up cycles and ending. Or it could just be mentally you're noting that there's a cycle and there's a little bit of sadness attached. Mercury retrograde could have brought back a few people that were from your past, and they come in and then you come out and you're sad to see them go. And you have to kind of start to explore why you're sad to see them go if it wasn't your truth. So you still could be harboring feelings for someone. It could be resentment as well, but it could be just feelings for someone. So if you do have people that are commenting or coming back, just, let them kind of pass through. Don't create a space, a box for them to reside in. Just let them pass through and then shut the door. So it's not much with that. I feel really calm, cool. Nothing's really, nothing's really doing anything. Tai Chi, very slow movements. But not like Pluto, where I felt kind of worried by how slow things were moving. Quite calm. And maybe this is because Mercury retrograde is over. The shadow period is still going on for about 2 weeks or something like that. But the big stuff, the big revelations are gone. So we have the Seven of Wands and the Four of Swords. So this group, or it could be a continuation, needs to get out there and celebrate, especially when Aries season comes. If you find an opportunity, definitely put your heart and soul into it. I see this as organs. So if you like organ music, I was thinking of Gregorian chant or something like that. Thinking about music and notes and frequencies and stuff like that. I was just looking up sound healing and sound meditation. So for Mercury, you might want to get your throat chakra attuned to that. You might want to just listen to music. You might just want to read and meditate and things like that, especially if Mercury retrograde threw you off. That would probably be helpful because you might be getting some insights that are helpful for you to move forward. And they maybe couldn't come through during Mercury retrograde because everything was so fucked up. You probably are going to get a lot of information now. The pipes were being unclogged, and now they're coming through. Also, things may be coming to a head that weren't coming to a head. So things were very slow moving. This could also go for like tensions and stuff like that. So if anybody had underlying tensions with people, it could come out now. Even though I know Mercury retrograde brings people back and then they kind of like leave at the end, this could kind of be not you finally shutting the door like this group, but it could be coming to a head, proclaiming things. For the Four of Swords, I don't know if you need to unblock your chakras, learn about your chakras, things like that. Go to a chiropractor. And also with the Seven of Wands, making sure diffusing the situations before it gets to the Five of Swords, where people are like fighting over every fucking thing. Make sure you can diffuse the situation. You may actually feel like with Mercury retrograde over that, like, it's almost like a bomb squad, you know, that comes in and they get a call and they rush to the scene, and they're trying to diffuse the situation. You may be called to diffuse a lot of situations because a lot of stuff could have just been building up this month. Particularly in romantic relationships, like if you had disappointing Valentine's Day, or like you're just chronically stressed or something like that, I think learning to diffuse yourself, calming yourself, meditating, doing something to bring you down so that you're not escalating in the swords, because the swords are about mental spaces and mental capacities and your ability to kind of like mentally move through things. With this Seven of Wands, being action orientated, being proactive, productive, letting people know that you're being proactive and productive, and setting those boundaries so that you can, because if this progresses to the Five, you can only be mad at yourself for letting it progress. So making sure that you don't let it progress to give you something to be mad about, and also don't look to be mad about stuff. Like if everything's going well, just let the shit go well. So some of you guys probably aren't people that let things go well. There's always a blemish somewhere, and like this month you're not like supposed to do that. So okay, so we have the Seven of Swords and the Knight of Wands. So I'm going to say, check your credit report, make sure there's no identity theft, making sure that your passwords are good, making sure that your online profiles are good, making sure that there's not gossip. So if you're one of those people that has like a business that really thrives on like reputation, like you need to have a really good reputation, you need to have a really good SEO or search engine and stuff like that. Like, go and look and see what you find about yourself on the internet, because that might be helpful, particularly if you're something like lawyer, you know, something legal, maybe even technical. Update your resume, things like that. Make sure you take off shit off your resume that's like not fraudulent, but you know how we really fluff up our resumes. Make sure that everything that you have on there is like, you know, solid, like you're not lying about it. You can word it so people like don't think it, and then you prove them wrong, like, hi bitch, but don't just flat out like fucking lie. Because with this, they could put you in situations where you have to prove yourself, and I've said this for another reading, but they could put you in situations where you have to prove yourself, and like if you worded it so that that it makes it seem like it's not, but it really is, like you're really actually skilled at this shit, like it'll work in your favor. But if you just like were lying, then you know. So This also could let you know whether or not you want to be in this particular company, because I mean, if you have companies that like don't respect your credentials and your hard work and stuff like that, like it could be a little bit of like, I don't want to say racial profiling, which is sort of bias. That's someone that looks like you or comes from your background, like they look at your name, you know, people with certain names, like they get tossed in the bin all the time, in the trash bin all the time. Interviews, things like that. There's just a level of confidence that you need to have that will intrigue people enough to look into you. Some people you can't satisfy because like they're always looking for you to fuck up based on like who they think you are. Don't fall into that role to fulfill whatever it is and give them an excuse to like fire you or demote you or whatever. Stand your ground on who you are. It'll come out later what they were trying to do, and maybe they'll get fired. I'm not so sure if they will, but definitely it'll come to light and you'll be vindicated, or you could just fucking move on from the job or the department or whatever. That's a pain in the ass. With the Knight of Wands, don't be defensive, don't fight, don't do office gossip, don't do office bullying, don't do office anything. If anything gets too bad, and this is advice from someone who like really became like an office bitch, like don't let it bring you down to like other people's levels. Because people in offices, especially if you're in a place where people with the Seven of Swords are in there for the wrong reasons, it's just a check, or it's something that they've always done for the last like 15 fucking years, and you can tell they're just like going through the motions. If you're not that kind of person, then take the experience for what it is and then dip the fuck out. But don't stay there, don't be bitter, don't turn into that bitch that's at the work place and they've been there for like 10 fucking years and they're bitter and they're like they got 3 more years or 10 more years, and you just like, I worked with someone and she was across my like cubicle like a few years ago, like 5-6 years ago, no, like 4 years ago, no, 5, yeah, like 5-6 years ago. Like that shit is not fun to be around. That makes you unproductive. And also don't get into, when there's struggles with this Knight of Wands, that this isn't for you. So some people, oh, it's not for me because it's too hard to this or that. It might just be the wrong environment. It might just be the wrong company for you. But stick it out. The actual job is like worth it. Other people, like, it's showing you that you really don't want this shit. Like, if you're somebody that's like, I want a high-powered job and I want to work with this and I'm okay under pressure, and then you get into like a fintech place and like, you know, you're trying to take a break every 15 fucking minutes, you're staying 12-hour shifts, 12-hour days, you know, 5 days a week, and then they actually do weekends, and then you realize you're cracking under pressure. That was a false illusion. You weren't supposed to do that kind of fucking job. So just make sure that you are okay, because if you're not okay, that's going to be a problem for you in the long run. But you can't blame anybody else but yourself, because you took the job and you thought also that you were going to impress people by being that way, and you ended up not impressing anybody, and you ended up being very diminished and feeling small, is kind of how I see it. Cool. So, this is the second reading. It's like, I don't know what's going on with this cold thing. I think it's milk. I've been having a lot of cheese and stuff. My arch nemesis, but it's so delicious. Not nutritious, but delicious. And so I'm just having like honey and water. Honey is just like really great. Save the bees. Like seriously, because yeah, like a bunch of our food is tied to them. So I don't know who needs to hear that, but save the bees. You'll be on conservation work or something. Save the bees, not the bitches, the bees. That's what the bees stand for, not bitches. Okay, so I'm gonna do 3 cards. Okay. Stay with me. Okay. Okay, so this is going to be like an archetype kind of card. I've never done a reading like this, but I'm on the fly. And I was going to say look up something in the Hebrew alphabet, like a letter. I don't have the book, but whatever one starts with G, G, I guess, is the one. Alright, I guess we're going to do this. Do we change our archetypes, and how can we change them? I love these questions because they suggest that some cosmic force or divine power has something to do with deciding the meaning and purpose of our lives. If we didn't pick out our archetypes, then who did? And even if we did pick them, who organized that opportunity? What is God? If so, when did that event take place? It would have to have been prior to our birth. This is the personal belief now of this person. My personal belief is that we are born with life assignments, and those assignments are governed by our archetypal patterns. I call those assignments sacred contracts. That's also the title of a book I wrote, as well as the focus of my teaching. The archetypes contained in your sacred contract govern your relationship to personal power and to spiritual power, and are expressed through every aspect of your life. So they want 83 or 103. Oh, damn, the athlete. Okay, so the athlete, I guess, is going to be 1. So this is the archetype of the athlete. So this is just the page. You can look into it. So this is the book. Universal lesson. The lesson of this archetype then is to confront the vulnerability of the body. I was thinking about the fucking body, yo. And therefore the impermanence of life itself, death, to fully accept the reality of aging and the inevitable decline of strength and stamina. The athlete archetype reaches its zenith in the early decades of life, unlike archetypes like the caretaker, the teacher, and the mother-father, which get wiser and more refined as they mature. By the time the physical body has hit its 4th decade, aches and pains begin to compete with speed and agility. The reality of life makes itself known with the gradual diminishing of the very qualities the athlete values most. That's just a portion. So this part, Page of Pentacles, Ace of Cups, Death. Savor the time that you have. Don't look at things that have been lost. With that 3 of Swords or whatever that have been lost as losses. Take them as experiences. You can have new experiences in your life. The Page of Pentacles isn't something that needs to be stuck. We have the Sun coming out. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to stay stagnant. You don't have to stay the same age. You know, this could be a group of people that may be like always changing their looks up. Like if you're a woman, I mean, it doesn't really matter, but like you could have like an extensive wig collection, or like a bunch of skincare products, or a bunch of like outfits that aren't you. You know, something that I find with people, men and women, however you identify, is that people really be out here having crises, and they really buy like a bunch of shit that they don't need. It's like, and it's always something external that costs you like money, which is earned through your time or your intellect, like some expenditure that you can't get back. And it's like the thing that you want to get, like you get with clothing, it's like such a huge expenditure on your end that it doesn't even like reciprocate in the relationship. Like, yeah, you have to work so many hours to get like one page of swords, one like to get a like a wig. Not like saying like, all natural is the way to go. But what I'm saying is like when you have to put a whole week's like check for like bundles or like wigs or hair extensions or like a new shirt or new shoes just to prove something, like you've expended so much of your time, you literally locked and chained yourself to an experience, this experience that you think you're gonna have if you have this item, right? Like you're expending real material energy or real material like life lived experience for a possibility of something, the possibility that something's going to be different. Like there's no real guarantee, and it often breeds like a materialism that like is never filled. And so you just keep buying more and more shit, and it's like to communicate to other people that you're still got it, you're still young and shit like that. And it's just like maybe you don't, and that's okay. You know what I'm saying? Like who the fuck cares? Like you may not have it. Like okay. I don't know. The Six of Cups again. You may not have it anymore. You know, you may not have the shit anymore. Like it's okay. You're 45. Like okay. You're 60. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Like even if you're 20, like you're not the same. Your body isn't the same as it was then, as it was at 15, as it was at 16, as it was at 12. And also ask yourself, do you want it to be? Because I think a lot of people, oh, I wish I could go back to when my body was that. Well, it's like, do you want it to be? It's like people overlook all of the shit that they went through. You could have been like a drug user. You could have been in an abusive relationship at 20, but you're only focused on like, oh, I looked good. But it's like you were a drug user, yo. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just focus on your body now and just appreciate what your body does. You know, with that chiropractor thing that I mentioned, you need to study the body. Like, and I'm actually trying to get into like body work. So, studying the body, you gain an appreciation for what the body does. And if you do have any damage that you've caused, that knowing that helps you rectify a lot of the issues and appreciate your body for what it is as an individual body. Like you appreciate your body for what it is, what it does, what it can't do. You know what I'm saying? And then you appreciate you for being able to do certain things. If you can't do a bunch of fucking squats, okay. But if you can jog for like 30 minutes, be appreciative of being able to do that. Like there's a comparison that the body, yes, we all have common like organ systems and things like that, but there's individual things that our bodies do and cannot do based on who we are. And appreciating that goes a lot farther than buying a bunch of shit that isn't you, doesn't reflect you, doesn't even reflect your attitudes, beliefs, faith, whatever, to impress a bunch of people that may or may not give you what you want. Like there's, like I said, there's no guarantee with this. So I think that's it. I hope you enjoyed this reading. Thank you, Mercury, for listening. And I hope that, like, in the future, you're not having these crises. But yeah, thanks for watching, Mercury. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.